Hello, 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 hello. You are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Radio Free Wall Street. And we are in the second week of the Turkey crisis. And Wall Street wants you to know it's not a problem. It's a problem over there in Europe. And don't let the stock market decline fool you. This is just a healthy correction. Yeah, you can see how intertwined we are. And the Turkey lesson is one that Donald Trump needs to learn. I don't think Donald Trump's learning anything new, do you? He doesn't strike you like a man that wants to hear anything about anything because he knows everything. The problem with the trade wars Donald Trump is starting is the fact that he does not understand how interconnected the world is, how complicated the supply chains are, but here's the other one, or how complicated the finance is. Financing no longer is confined to countries or currencies, and they overlap. And when you start this trade war and you get involved in this stupid shit, it's kind of like you shoot a bullet, and it ricochets and bounces. And have you ever gone shooting? Have you ever had a couple times where you scared the shit out of yourself, or a couple of ricochets came back your way? Yeah. I was shooting some steel pipe, and tell you stories. I was at a shooting range, and shooting at the targets, and there was this 6-inch pipe. And I wanted to see, it was a pretty good shot, I wanted to see if I could hit the pipe, and I did, and then a bullet ricocheted and kind of whizzed back at me. And that got my attention, so I always remembered, be aware of the ricochet. And the ricochet you've got to be aware of is one of the trade sanctions coming back and shooting you in your ass. And right now we are seeing the ricochet. We're seeing the sanctions affect more and more U.S. industries. And we are seeing it getting uglier and uglier out there. And eventually we're going to see a nice little wipeout. Donald, thank you. Stock market was down 125 points on the basis of the Dow. S&P down 11 points. The NASDAQ down 19 points. And what's happening is the markets are trying to price in the real effect of Donald Trump's sanctions, this trade war, and what's going on with Turkey. Remember, this is about some preacher guy that's on house arrest that Donald Trump, the almighty, he's basically demanding that this guy be released. And the Turks are saying, no, 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 hell no. So Donald Trump is threatening additional sanctions on steel and aluminum out of Turkey, and that is what's riled the markets. We are seeing, this ricochet all over the world. We got the Russian ruble that is now at 67 rubles a dollar. By the way, it was at 69.23 today, so the ruble's getting weaker. And the MSCI Emerging Market Index is now at its lowest level since what? August against the dollar, August 4th. Mm-hmm. And start to affect many other markets. So you need to pay attention here because this is going to be a big shit. And the lesson here is one that's of simplicity, and that is the global trading system is a real complicated animal. And balance of trade deficits is not the only way, and remember we talked about merchandise deficits. So you have a simplistic president making a simplistic analysis of a very complicated market, and he's getting it wrong. The Turkey crisis is a shot across the bow. It's a warning sign. What happens when the British exit goes bad? What happens when the sanctions with Iran get screwed up and Turkey helps them sneak oil out, as does China, as does Russia? They're also doing sanctions. What happens when they form the United States Sanctions Us Club? And they say, well, can we exist in a monetary system without the U.S. system, without the Federal Reserve? Can we exist outside the European SWIFT system? Can we have a group of rogue nations that trade among themselves? And then can we have the rest of the world come beg and do business with us? For example, Europe cannot afford to, and this is going to be a big Europe cannot afford to really piss off Russia because 40% of its oil and energy needs comes from Russian gas. Give me a yeah. And America can't fill the gap, and neither can Middle Eastern suppliers. Now, as you move around the world and you look at this thing, you realize that these countries are too intertwined in too many ways that it gets very complicated to figure out who's doing what and where. And all of a sudden, these blanket sanctions, like we're seeing with Turkey, have a devastating effect. In other words, did Donald Trump really want to collapse the euro? The lower euro means we get less business out of euro because U.S. dollar-based goods are more expensive. In other words, as Donald Trump's punishing everybody else, he's punishing himself. Well, damn, that's a new experience. In other words, what we are doing is we're killing our industry. We're killing our exports. We're making our balance of trade deficit even worse because, well, we are stopping people from buying our goods above and beyond sanctions. We're getting ourselves priced out of the market with the sky-high dollar. I mean, the Turkey lira plunging means that, U.S. exports cannot be competitive inside Turkey. And it also means that Turkish companies that have lira revenue streams and dollar-based debt suffer because the lira is plunging, but the dollar is also soaring. That spills over into Europe. Is the United States attempt to topple the European banking system? Well, guess what? There are a whole lot of euro-based loans that U.S. companies have. So, as you're seeing, he's literally, the ricochet may just put a bullet in the heart of American business. And we're moving into this area where these sanctions are getting so ridiculous that no one knows what to do. So, you know what happens when business doesn't know what to do? Well, they do nothing. And we are not seeing business investment increase. We're not seeing inward investment coming to the United States. We're not seeing the great tax break bonanza for billionaires bringing jobs to coal mines and steel mills or anything else. We're not going to make America great in manufacturing again. We're not going to use an American great trucking company to move the Make America Great goods. And we're not going to move in a Make America Great train. And we're not going to move in an America Great boat. And we're not going to export out of the country despite all the bullshit that Donald Trump wants to blow up some blue-collar worker drooling on himself that we should say his life is pretty much a failure. And his last hope is Donald Trump, who came to town and said, vote for me and I'll make you great again. The guy go, oh, wow, okay. I sure want to be great. Yeah. Well, what's great? How? Do I get a double-wide mobile home for this single-wide now if you make me great? Oh, good. Yeah, I'm going to kick these opioids. Wow, man, anytime real soon. But I need a job. Yeah, okay. That's a fantasy. This Donald Trump is just riding the misery of the lower classes in America to make himself great again, to get out of the investigation, to make sure that the midterm elections go as well as possible for the Republicans to keep the Democrats at bay. This is not about helping Americans, okay? Now, I mean, I saw that pig farmer going, well, down here in Iowa, we're blood Americans, and we voted for Donald Trump, and I got pigs here, and but Donald, I can't hold on for 3 years while you fight this trade war. See, we borrowed so much money, I'm looking at like 6 months, and then we're gone, Donald. Donald. How come Donald ain't coming back here no more to visit my pig farm? We're going broke, Donald. So what's happened is these numbnuts that were cheering, he's a desperate man. He's going to vote for anybody that promises is going to save his ass, right? You know, if you throw a drowning man a cement block, he'll grab onto it until it starts taking him under. So what is Donald doing? Well, Donald is absolutely crippling the farmer, be it the grain farmer, or be it the pork farmer, or now it's the beef farmers are starting to get effect. Donald Trump is killing people who use steel. Even the steel makers can't make the steel that's in demand. It still has to be imported. The price is higher. Their customers are buying less across the board. It's not working. So this is nice bullshit. Now, I love bullshit. I mean, bullshit is a great product. I know people that make it and sell it, and they tell me that it's very cheap to make and sells at a very high price. And Donald Trump is selling a lot of bullshit and dropping a load of crap at all these farmers' doors that are like, well, Hillary? I remember Hillary. Would Hillary do this? And now all of a sudden, Americans are really worried about, like, what their future is going to be. We got a survey today that said that the consumers are turning more pessimistic about wages, stocks, home prices, and taxes. And, by the way, this is by the New York Fed Survey of Consumer Expectations. It's a very reliable survey. You might notice that those slack jaws, sweet tits, and Mr. Six-Pack Abs, he's not talking much about this because that's a little complicated, and it's like, it doesn't fit the narrative, does it? Because Donald Trump's great again, and America's great again, and I'm great again, and you're great again, and we're all great again. That bullshit is nice, friends, but it don't put one piece of bacala on the table. It doesn't make you any money. It doesn't work. It's all campaign rhetoric, bullshit spin, designed to take your money and make an idiot out of you. Now give me a 1, 2, 3, da. So as we're seeing with the Turkey experience, as we're seeing with Kim Jong nunchucks, where is the nunchuck deal? Remember nunchucks? Remember the mime? Woo, woo. And he's an honest guy, and Donald Trump says that he really means he wants to do good. I mean, people believe that shit? Sometimes I just walk away from these conversations and think, they really are pretty goddamn stupid. No wonder they are getting poorer and poorer. They're buying into any bullshit anyone wants to blow up their ass. And at some point, people are going to have to wake up and realize that Donald Trump's a liar. Now, you may not think, well, I don't care if he lies. Well, you care if he lies if nobody buys your pig, fool. You care if he lies your ass off because your grains are going to hell. You care if he lies his ass off and the trade war with Canada means you can't sell your milk and cheese there. That means you go broke, you wipe out, you have no business, you have no life. At some point, even the dumbest summiches, and there are a lot of them out there, okay, scratch their ass and go, wait a minute, this trade war's not working out so well for me. It's not working out so well for my business. Oh, God, what should we do now? Donald, make us great again. And then you put faith in Donald Trump, and he don't answer the phone. This Harley Davidson shit, with the bikers, Yeah, I got a Harley, but I'm not. That's un-American. Yeah, bikers are red-blooded Americans. Mm-hmm. Hell's Angels care about the country and the flag, and they don't care about hurting people with drugs. Mm-mm. No, crank is not their business, and drugs are not their business, and murder for hire. They're just misunderstood fellow American bikers riding around with their hair blowing in the breeze, practicing their love and understanding compassion for fellow man. Is this more bullshit? I mean, exactly where does this stop? Okay, you are seeing industry after industry roiled by Trump's bullshit. The nice thing about this is, and I'll tell you what it is there's a rising tide of former Trumpers who are getting like, honey, I think we've been bullshit, honey. I mean, I don't see no pay increase, and my pickup truck's costing more because of that steel, and the gasoline's pretty damn expensive, and I don't see us getting ahead. The mortgage getting more expensive, the rate. Well, honey, I think maybe Donald Trump lied to us. I know it's not positive because I thought he was good folks. You know what I love about the working class people? You got a limousine liberal who didn't even pay his chauffeur in his car, okay? His limousine, lives at a golden palace in New York, Golden City, modern Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? And this guy has convinced these people that Mr. Golden Toilet, Mr. Billionaire huckster real estate guy, is just the kind of God-fearing man sent by Jesus and the pastor and in the First Baptist Church, and he came here to help us. Thank God for Donald Trump bringing back, he's going to fight abortions, and he's going to bring back the Christian ethic to America and make us a holy country again because he believes in school prayer. You believe that bullshit? You actually believe this asshole believes in any of that? The man is an atheist. He's a pagan. Okay, he has no God. He has no love of country. He is not for the common man. He despises them. If you go talk to the building contractors and subcontractors, the working men like most Americans, he never paid them. He screwed every one of them. They didn't have the money to take him to court. They didn't have the money to fight him. Donald Trump would drag out the Cohen, the lawyer that recording. Well, Cohen's job was to drag these poor contractors into court until they couldn't afford to fight any longer. So maybe you ought to like kind of go, well, let me cogitate on this here thing. Sounds to me like just maybe, well, we got ourselves a Yankee from New York who bullshitted us. What do you think about that, Miss Molly? I mean, you know, people will eventually figure this out. Okay? He's not bringing jobs. He's not bringing trade. He's not opening up markets. He's not even stopping undocumented workers. He's making Trump great again. The tax rate bonanza for billionaires didn't filter down. There are no jobs coming. Then I want to say something else to you. With these sanctions you've got, prices of everything you buy are going to get higher. Go to the Walmart store and watch the price increase. See, there was another side of this trade, and that was that Americans got huge discounts of the cost of goods. So although for the past 20 years wages have not been rising in America, the reality is that people got a benefit from much lower priced goods. You know, China did not trick us into buying the shit. They shipped it over here in containers, and you walked into a Walmart store and go, oh, made in China. Well, that fan's cheaper than that one made over there in Alabama. I'll buy the China one. No one made them buy China. Everyone heard about buying America. Everyone understood this. And when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, it's like, screw America. Screw that. You remember those shitty little fans with the Made America flag on it? You know, they were bringing fans and Made America toasters and all that. It was shittier than the shit out of China, you know. It's like, it's like, shit, America can make crap just as well as Chinese could. And because the guy's making crap in America is making $15 an hour, and the guy that's making that crap toaster in China's making $1 an hour, well, between that $1 and 15 is a few more dollars to try to get that toaster to work a few days longer before it burns out, catches on fire, electrocutes you. So figure it out. I mean, Donald Trump has made an asshole out of the majority. It's really kind of credible. I mean, you got one guy that's made an asshole out of the country. He truly has. And the reality is, he knows it. He likes it. He did it. He's proud of himself, and he keeps on doing it. This Turkey situation we should bring home the point to that, if things are screwing up in Turkey, and that's affecting currency markets, and that's affecting Europe, maybe the world is tied together more than most people think. And maybe this Turkey situation is going to get out of hand, or maybe something just like it. And maybe getting trade wars with everyone does not make America great again. Could that be possible? Could it be possible that shit just doesn't work? I want you to think about it. Cogitate, I'm sorry. I want you to cogitate on that and ask yourself, well, what in the hell's going on here, boy? Because something is very wrong. Something is not working as it should. Something's getting uglier by the minute. And his trade war made nice bullshit. It was a nice, sound. It was a nice kind of crap you were supposed to buy into. But, dare I suggest, this shit just ain't working. In other words, it's not happening like it was supposed to. It's not giving you the changes you were promised. It is throwing the economy into depression. Now, here's a little newsflash for you. If you have eyes that see, okay, and if you have eyes that see, my old saying, the one-eyed man is king in the land of the blind. Well, if you got one eye where everyone else is blinded by Donald Trump, and you realize there's depression coming, you realize the money you can make, because you can, wait a minute, this trade shit is not working. This trade shit is not making America great again. This trade shit is not turning around the economy. It is not bringing more business, more jobs. Why, it's bullshit. Now, first of all, when you get bullshitted, you got to realize you've been bullshitted. That's number one. Then the second thing after you've been bullshitted is you got to realize how to turn that bullshit into do-re-mi, into money, right? So now you know you've been bullshitted. You now know it ain't like they said it was going to be. And now what you got to do is you got to scratch your ass and say, well, okay, where is the money ball in this thing? Where is the opportunity realizing that Donald Trump's full of shit, that he ain't delivering the goods he says it is, that we're not in a trade war that's going to make America great again. And when he tells Mr. Omaha pork farmer that everything's going good, he's just going to say, just wait there a little longer so the bank can foreclose on you. So maybe you can find a lot of cheap farms. But the point is that things are coming unglued. This is not working. And the whole Trump narrative is not valid. Now, if you understand this trade war is not going to go our way. We're not going to fold right away and all that bullshit. And that is roiling the currency markets. It is making U.S. goods even less competitive outside the United States. And it is costing Americans a fortune. Because that tariff deal, that is paid. China doesn't write a check saying, oh, this is China. Here, Donald. Here's your duty check. No, you're paying it, sucker. You're paying it in your F-150 pickup truck. You're paying an angle iron you're buying. You're paying it rebarb. You're paying it everything you're doing that involves steel. And then you can start paying the food market. And you're going to start seeing all this crazy sanctions shit come home. You're going to pay it in the cost of lumber. You've been to a lumberyard lately? Holy shit. Okay? And in other words, it was nice. It sounded so good about America. I mean, when I heard that shit, I had tears in my eyes. I actually got a whiff of apple pie, and I was thinking about just great America and make America great again. And then I looked around and go, well, coal mines aren't great. Higher prices aren't great. That's bad. Tax break bonanza for billionaires that pay that money out to themselves in stock options is, here's a news flash for you, why it's not adding new jobs in America. Oh no, not adding new jobs? Holy shit. It's becoming more of a crisis. So now you start to realize that, well, I even bullshitted. And the bullshit artist in chief is destroying the economy. He is creating more and more problems than he's solving. And the bullshit just ain't working. So, I mean, every bullshit artist in the world is going to drape themselves in a flag. And, in fact, in Texas, we had a kind of a joke among us when we were driving out in the country. The truck stopped. The bigger the size of the American flag flying in front of it, the shittier the food. There was a direct correlation. I mean, I don't understand, how that could work, but it really did. In other words, the bigger the damn bullshit, the more crap, and and the lousier the food was, and sure as shit never failed. So, I wonder if that applies to Donald Trump also. The bigger the line of shit, the bigger the crap, the more damage he does. Because there is something very wrong here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Dollars soaring in value. American goods being boxed out of foreign markets. Americans paying more for everything by these duties and these taxes. The world trade system coming unglued without any investment inward, without any increase in manufacturing. So, Kudlow, Kudlow, maybe you ought to start drinking again. That'd be better for everybody in the country, and you too. Maybe you won't hear those voices screaming at the night that keep you up. Because let me tell you something. This shit ain't working. The economy is not recovering. We are not becoming a great trading nation again. And Donald Trump's tax breaks for billionaires is devastating the economy. Budget deficits are soaring. And it's like maybe you should wake up and go, well, I think I've been bullshitted, boy. Because let me tell you, there's going to be a whole lot of farmers that ain't be farming next year. And there'll be a whole lot of factory workers that ain't be factoring next year. And a whole lot of coal miners ain't be coal mining. And all of a sudden people are going to realize they've been bullshitted. And then wait for the backlash. So, will this bad news hit for midterms? Well, Donald Trump is absolutely trying to run, the publicity stunt. He is absolutely trying to deliver his speeches and raising funds and talk about how his great plans are going to work. But you know what happens? When you can smell, it's bullshit. Now, Donald Trump's smell of bullshit, by the way, is kind of mightier than anybody else's. I mean, this guy's got a real strong bullshit odor to everything he does. And it is really having a devastating effect. I know you realize that. So all I can tell you is that now that you're starting to realize you've been bullshitted, and now you're starting to realize that something's not quite right, I got another idea for you. How about if you make money from this? How about if you turn Donald Trump's bullshit and say, well, I've been shitted by a shit expert, and I'm so sorry, and go, can I make money with this? Yeah. Is this going to cause a depression? Well, duh. Are we headed for a recession? Well, hell, duh. When did you ever hear of a soaring dollar not costing U.S. exporters business? When did you ever hear about duties on inbound goods costing Americans more money, good for the economy? At some point, you got to scratch your head and go, well, I think we're getting screwed coming and going. See, coming is the goods coming to America cost more because of duties. And going, wow, getting truck going, because with the sky-high dollar, your customers got to pay more, and you're no longer competitive. Duh. Now, in our next coming session, we're going to talk about how to turn this into do-re-mi called money. Do you like money? Now, I got to go because Donald Trump is now in Utica, New York, and I just got to hear how he's going to make us great again. Oh, Donald. I love you, Donald. Donald. Thank you.